On wings of fury, the enemies of Demacia will fall.
The origins of dragons elude our histories, both written and oral. Even my knowledge leaves much to be discovered. What we do know is that the dragon's magic is passed down through the generations, the magical runes splitting and shards of magic instilled in the firstborn daughter of each generation. One such dragon egg lays nestled deep within a volcano, pulsing with the faint echoes of a fire rune. Drawn to its power like a moth to the flame, a daring mage attempted to extract its runic magics, only to find himself interrupted by the return of the dragon's mother. Fleeing in fear, the mage unwittingly infused the egg with his own mortal magics in the midst of the chaos. The mother, Yava, marveled at the fiery energy swirling beneath the egg shell, oblivious to what the mage had done. She would name the child Shyvana to honor her own legacy. Winter had come and gone, and finally the shell gave way to reveal a human infant with violet skin. Yava recoiled in shock as the child began to cry, her body rippling with fire magic and transforming into a dragon. Yava could not allow this half-breed abomination to tarnish her bloodline. Her mate, however, would not allow her to kill their child. The two clashed, and after a ferocious battle, Shyvana's father fled with the newborn child clutched in his talons. For years, Shyvana and her father fled from place to place in hopes of eluding Yava's pursuit. As the years went on, Shyvana struggled to keep her emotions and volatile power in check. Doing his best, her father sought to temper her dragon side, which unleashed a ruthless fury she had inherited from her mother. Over the years, suffering from numerous self-inflicted burns while in her humanoid form, learning that life was truly fragile, and not everything could be set aflame without consequence. As her power grew, so too did her magics connecting her to Yava, allowing for her to sense her daughter's presence from afar. She found the child alone and taunted her with tales of her origin, revealing that her true father was a feeble human who twisted her noble draconic lineage into a disgusting perversion. In this moment, Yava attacked her daughter, ready to undo her mistake. Shyvana defended herself, but suffered many wounds at the hand of her mother before her father arrived to save her. Giving her enough time to escape, Shyvana's father fell to Yava's flames in the process. As she grieved, Shyvana searched for a land her father told her of, a place awash with petricite, stones with nullifying powers that diminished any nearby magic. When she reached the outer territories of Demacia, she knew she had discovered what she sought. It was here she thought she could mask her magic from her mother. While out hunting for fresh meat, she followed the scent of blood and came upon an injured warrior named Jarvan. Near death, hiding under a fallen tree, she recognized his need for help, even though her predatory side told her to finish him off. Shyvana carried the semi-conscious Jarvan to the nearest town, despite her fear that she'd be met with fear and disdain. To her surprise, the locals welcomed her to their town and thanked her for helping the soldier. She observed as the villagers pulled together to nurse Jarvan back to health. This was something she had never known. True camaraderie. Demacians looked out for one another, and the more she learned, the more she yearned to be a part of it. She lived in peace and enjoyed harmony for the first time in her life, for the next 6 months. But her tranquility could only last for so long. It was not long before the ruined shard in her chest began to burn again, and rumors of a dragon terrorizing the Demacian countryside began to arise. At Jarvan's command, the villagers moved to Castle Renwall and began training. Jarvan and Shyvana would need all of their help to confront her mother. The battle would take place in a nearby ancient ruin built from petricite. Shyvana transformed into her true dragon form in front of everyone present and bellowed out a roar into the sky, issuing a challenge to her mother. It was not long before the beating of Yava's wings descended upon Shyvana. Jarvan shouted out, and all of the villagers loosed arrows tipped with petricite into Yava, volley after volley, even after losing many to her flames. Anchored to the ruins by the nullifying magic of the petricite, Shyvana knew this was her chance. She stood before her mother in proud defiance, but Yava only laughed, and the two clashed. Tooth and claw rended flesh from bone as the two dragons thrashed around one another, crushing the foundations of the ruins to dust. Shyvana ripped Yava's wing from her back, but she locked Shyvana's neck between her razor-sharp jaws. Blood streamed from her collarbone as she collapsed to the ground in her human form. Yava grinned as she loomed over her daughter, ready to end her life. Shyvana channeled all of her grief, fury, anguish, and hatred, and summoned forth the power of the fire rune within her blood. She plunged her claw into her mother's chest and tore away the living and still beating heart from her mother's body. The last of Yava's lifeblood drained away as Shyvana let out a triumphant roar. At that moment, she felt no remorse, only pride. As a reward for her bravery, Jarvan granted her a home in Demacia and allowed her to return home to the capital alongside him. Serving as one of his honor guard, Shyvana remains in her purple-skinned humanoid form as she defends her adoptive home, though every so often she escapes into the wild to spread her wings, knowing that someday she must answer the runic call that burns deep within the shard of her heart.